Hi everybody, it's me, Matt Halls of the Happy Show, Comics Unlimited in Evansville, Indiana, located at the Big E Superstore at 1540 Van Avenue, and open the first and third weekend of every month. I say this so that in case you're in the area, you can come by and visit and check out the Comics Unlimited booth. Well, this vlog is, I'm actually filming this Christmas Eve. I filmed a video a few hours ago too, that's why I haven't actually went to bed. It's after midnight at the time I'm filming this. So if you say, Matt, you're wearing the same shirt you did in the last video, and I think that was just a day before. Actually, it was a same day of kind of, sort of. Like I said, we crossed over the midnight mark here. And what time is it exactly? Oh yeah, well, it's a little bit closer to 1 a.m. So what am I doing up at this time? Waiting for Santa! Oh, no, I'm not. It's Christmas Eve anyway. It's not. We're just now into Christmas Eve. Christmas Day is still 24 hours roughly away. So I was going through some stuff and decided to make a vlog about this. I have a box here that I just had stored away, and sometimes you find things that's just kind of interesting, and this has to do with the Happy Show actually, even though it has my shop here. There was this was mailed to me, and this one's 2009. I'm just pulling this out and seeing what I got here. I know basically what's in this box, but I still haven't looked at it for a while. But I saw that this pertained to the Hall's Draws segment I would do on the Happy Show regularly. And this is from Kyle and Jean Deer, I think it's D-E-R-R, from Texas, Spring Branch, Texas. This is in January of 2009. I'm going to cover up their address, but they may not even be living there anymore, for all I know. I mean, it's that many years. But this is addressed to Comics Unlimited, which was my shop and my business still. But this was the shop on 654B Diamond Avenue. And I'm showing you that because that part don't matter. First off, if I still had the shop, I'd be advertising it anyway. But, and I would want you to know where it's located. But I don't have a brick and mortar shop. I haven't had since 2014 when I closed it, so I could have more freedom selling at conventions and shows or flea markets and online. But this is the shop I had for all those years, and where a lot of the vlogs that I filmed back in the day actually was filmed. If you remember those, if you were watching back then. So Jean Deere wrote me a letter here, and it says, Matt Hawes, dear Matt, thank you again for very much for creating drawings and DVDs for Jackson's 7th birthday. I created drawings for the birthday. I think I know what I did. There was a picture of Spider-Man. I think it was just one drawing that was done. A DVD, I'm not quite sure unless I did a Hall's Draws. I don't actually remember what that was about. I knew this had some fan art, and that's why I'm, if you were wondering what this is all leading up to, I would just jump ahead and tell you there was some fan art sent to me. It says, okay, so anyway, yeah, this person, see, a lot of people who watch The Happy Show, I didn't make it a secret on YouTube that I was at the comic shop and all that. Now, on public access television in Evansville, I was not supposed to advertise, and I didn't. Even though a certain competitor would have people watch my videos to make sure I wasn't advertising. Now, I still filmed within my shop because I'm going to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I did not overtly or even really, in a subversive manner, try to advertise the shop. I didn't go through any efforts to disguise I was in my comic shop. But it wasn't for advertisement purposes. But whenever I put this stuff on YouTube, I did go ahead and, I did mention on YouTube about the shop. And so a lot of people were able to look it up, or, I can't remember if I had the address on the web page or whatever, or on the YouTube page at that time. Oh, and if you're wondering about public access, not to be confused with public television, a lot of people do that. Not PBS with Sesame Street and all that, but public access, local access in a sense. Usually just within certain cities have their own local access television. And think of Wayne's World, if you remember that, or when you were in the movie or whatever, or Tom Green's originally started in what they call public access and all. Anyway, I'm bringing that up because you're not allowed to advertise on public access. It's supposed to be giving a community a voice. It's not meant for commercial purposes. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so that's why I'm bringing this all up. I'm explaining too why people would be writing me at my shop about my public access TV show. That was based on my headquarters. I wasn't going to give my home address. I'm sorry, but anyway, so it says again, thank you very much for creating the drawings and DVDs for Jackson's 7th birthday. Again, how old would that make him now? 2009, 2019. What, he'd be in his 20s or something? Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. Okay. Again, please film yourself drawing an Iron Man and Incredible Hulk and burn it onto DVD. I think I was paid for this. Because I don't, honestly, not to sound like a jerk here, but I wouldn't have been doing this crap for free. I did the public access, but I mean, I wouldn't be doing personalized DVDs or nothing. So I think I was hired to do this. Film yourself drawing Iron Man and Incredible Hulk and burn onto a DVD. During the filming, it would be great if you could talk to Jackson directly. Maybe discuss how you like superheroes too. When you become artists, techniques. I don't remember doing this. I would have used the footage on a Happy Show. I would have kept the footage. I'm that kind of person. Jackson is very much into detail and learning a lot about shading right now. And I am including one of his drawings for you, so maybe you can talk to him about what he's doing right. I know it's a lot to ask. I know Jackson will be thrilled to simply get a DVD from you. And thank you for singing work. I really wish I could remember what I did there because, like I said, it's not, I'll be honest, it's not likely that I would do that on a normal basis. And like I said, certainly not paying because I had running a shop. I have my own artistic projects also. I'm just kind of trying to remember. But meanwhile, Jackson, who was 7 years old, was a very good artist. I don't know if he stuck with it 30 years. There's an Iron Man drawing that he did, and they sent me, and that was really nice and colored that. Now, I was always willing to promote young artists and such, like, you know, but, and then, oh, he did his own Hulk drawing, too. Look at that. That's a cool one. Yeah, well, they're both cool. I wonder what he referenced for that, because, and the only reason I say that, I mean, some of you can come up with things on their own, but that poses, something I bet, I'm trying to think, it actually kind of looks familiar in a way, but anyway, the poses, but the drawing is all Jackson's there. Yeah, so like I said, he's being a full-grown adult now, so I guess he might have went into a career in art, and that'd be cool if he did, because one thing that's really neat about doing a lot of my, videos that I uploaded from the Happy Show, when I did drawing videos and such, is you get people who comment to this day, and some of them were children at the time, and they'll talk about how they've, you know, are still drawing. Some of them do have art careers, and talk about how their videos inspired them, which I think is really neat. Let's see, art concerns when people ever use it. Okay, I know what that's about. So, this is little quotations. There's so much I could discuss in this video, but I'm not going to keep it too long here. It'll probably be about maybe 20 minutes like my last video. But I don't really know everything I have in this box here, or I have a general idea. But there's this card that was notes is really what it's about. There's a whole deal with me and Central High School, which is, there's a gazillion Central High Schools in the nation, but particularly we're talking about Evansville Central High School, and that's where I went when I was a youngster, and they had a bear, the mascot, and I did my version of that bear mascot, my drawing that they used for 30 years. For some reason they decided they didn't want to bother giving me credit, blah blah blah. You can look at my old YouTube videos. I won't go into all of the history here, but I had to fight 30 years after the fact to just get them to say I drew the bear. Now, I wasn't talking about compensation. There's a whole deal where schools have basically used the talents and intellectual property of the children that they are supposed to be teaching and getting ready for the world. They do get you ready for the world. They teach you you're going to get screwed by corporations and all that other stuff and institutions. I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't want to sound bitter here. And I did finally get credit. I had to fight for that credit, but I did get credit for my bear finally, reluctantly on their side. But this is the notations. This is what, like I said, you can watch my old videos if you want to find that. I think there's even a playlist about it, so check my playlist. But it says, our concern is that when people have used your bear art over the years, that they thought they were using a painted mural. See, I was asked to base from the teacher who approached me in my final year of high school there. I was for a contest that I guess I won, but it was never announced. The contest was never even publicly announced. I was just approached about a contest to basically make a line art version of this mural that was in the gymnasium, which was really done to get a line work version that they could produce, especially back in those days. They couldn't just take, the image from a mural, I mean, this huge mural, and somehow make it into a form that they could reproduce in black and white line art and that sort of thing for different projects and such. So they were going to have students do it. I guess they're going to, I assume they literally were going to have a contest. If they were, they didn't really hold it, and I guess I won. I think they just went with me. I was known as the school artist. There was another artist, a friend Keith, who was very talented too, but I don't think he was ever approached about this. And so we were the two school artists, as it were. And so anyway, this is something that was said during the meeting I had with the EVSC. That's the Evansville Vanderburgh School Corporation, which is the organization that runs all the schools in town. Whenever I had to go to that length to get them to, do some kind of credit for me, they were basically just giving me a bunch of BS. They were saying, they were telling me that our concern is that when people have used your bear art over the years, they thought they were using the mural. Okay, because it's official mascot, the likeness of that. In order to use that mascot, they used your drawing. So you see, we didn't use your art because they didn't think it was your art. Simple, right? This is me paraphrasing here. That's what it is. It's paraphrasing, but I literally have a transcript of what happened in that meeting. Let's say, they may have been recording it. Well, it may have been recorded too by somebody else. And Indiana being a one-party state where only one party has to be aware of the recording, well, I'm just saying, there was probably a recording of that meeting. It's been resolved a long time ago, almost 10 years ago now, but Mikey Wood. Okay, so I got a letter from Mikey Wood to Comics Unlimited again. Oh, better cover up his address. It's a P.O. box, anyway, but from Florida. I think this is a fake letter, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of interesting letters that happen. This may be more a 20-minute video to tell you some of this stuff, because I don't know if I should do a part 2 or just keep it going. Yeah, okay, so this is a scam letter, if I remember correctly. Let me double check on here. So, all sorts of interesting letters. I got genuine fan letters for my TV show. I have some because even one, or at least I wrote to a letter to Wizard Magazine, which used to be a magazine about the comic book industry, about, promoting comics and such. I had a letter published in there, and then I got a letter from somebody else that might be in this box. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. I think I might see it down there as it is. Well, I won't spoil it. I'll come up on it here in a second. But Mikey Wood, as I remember looking correctly, I think this is an adult trying to pretend to be a child. I know that's really sad to say, but right up there, it's very faint. I'm trying to still be respectful in case this person's public act. And why would a child have a P.O. box, for God's sake? Anyway, but anyway, Mike there, it's very faint to see. On the camera, I don't think you can see it. But if you look really close, it actually says Mike, and then it's like redone to say Mikey. Like the guy thought better of it. He's like, oh, better make it sure. So why would somebody do this? Hello, comic book people. I am Mikey from a small town that doesn't have any comic book stores. I'm 10 years old. What year is this? 2003. This is older than the other one. Older than the other letter there. I'm 10 years old and I love comics. I'm saying it mockingly because I don't believe it's a 10-year-old. I wouldn't mock a 10-year-old on this. I love comics. I only have one comic. It's a new version of a comic that's called Ultimate Spider-Man. First edition. The comic I have is 1 year old. It was made in 2002. Now it's 2003. What I'm trying to say is, even if y'all comic book people don't know me from a small town from Florida, I was wondering if you could give me 2 comics for free. Any kind of superhero and edition for my two comic book cases. So he's saying for 2 bags and boards. I've got your address from my comic book case. So in Florida, apparently you got my bag and board. I stamped my boards to the comic books. You know, they come in protective covers. They don't come in. We put them in there. A lot of people have to think that they sent, who aren't really into comics, like they're, you know, mailed that way. Like they say, oh, we got, or distributed that way. You know, I've heard several people say, oh, it's still in the original bag and board. It's like, unless it was polybagged and sealed in a bag, it was put in a bag and board by somebody. It wasn't originally published and distributed inside a bag and board. But, so my point is, I stamped boards for my shop, for promotion and all that, and for years, for a decade or more of the shop, I would not let a single board go onto the floor without having my stamp, my seal of approval, for advertisement purposes. So this person from Florida apparently got my board. Now, you know, if you're already reading this, and you even look at the handwriting, it's made to look kind of like a child, but if you're really reading this, it is pretty well written for a 10-year-old, if you think about it, and they're using some kind of phrases that you wouldn't. Now, you're already getting a probably idea, if you're following along here, which if you're watching a video, of course you are. So you might get an idea what the scam is here. The guy's writing, presumably the comic book public or shops, comic book shops. I would imagine I'm not the only one he did this to, and asking them to be sent some free comics is all it is. You know, and appealing to us because it's a 10-year-old. You see, you don't want to not send to a 10-year-old, right? You're just total crap asshole if you do that, right? If you don't do that, so this guy is preying on shop owners who would just send them free books, basically. Because I guarantee you it's not a kid. I didn't think it then. I still don't think it now, reading this even more. He says, any kind of superhero and edition. For my 2 comic book cases. I got your address from my comic book case. Could you please send those 2 comics? I can't have the cases for nothing. Also, I don't see barely any comics in my life. I had to go out of town just to get that comic book I have now. Please write me back. Tell me why I can't have the comics or send them. And it just, you know, if it was legit, it's still pathetic. I'm sorry. But no, I don't believe it was a 10-year-old. I don't believe that at all. Like I said, it's the capper for me is whenever they went ahead and, you don't misspell your own name, so why do he have to go and correct it and put Mikey on there? He just, like I said, wanted to make sure it sounded like a kid. I could be wrong, but I kept this letter because it fascinated me. Because I'm almost dead certain that was a scam. And if it was, I feel sorry for the kid, but he's an adult now. He'll get over it. Sean, let's see where's the... I don't see the letter in this. Did I misplace it? I think this is a drawing or something that was sent to me that was in this envelope, but it must be in the box. I don't know. I wouldn't just have kept the letter unless there was a point. And that was from Illinois. Michael Booth, Massachusetts. This is a letter from Massachusetts from a guy named Michael Booth. I guess that's evident with how I just phrased that. Now let's see what's here. Is that the public access? Okay, there was YouTube at Baville, so my mom deleted my account. And I will still watch your show on Google Video. Me and my friend Amber will have recent episodes just in case you have a new episode. So Massachusetts, okay, so this is a fan letter of sorts. Like, Massachusetts was running the Happy Show. It had a sponsor, which is to say that public access, local access, public access, you can, in some cities especially, Evansville, we have public access because my friend Dave actually fought to get it on here in town, but the cable companies don't want to really honor the whole idea of it. It was, you know, something to get them to actually put our stuff on time. It's a wonder anybody actually followed the thing because of that. But thankfully, there was a number of people that did. And so anyway, that's the whole deal with that. The kid would have seen my show probably. I mean, he said Google video, and I assume he means YouTube too. What year was that? But the funny thing about that, let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to find where the stamp is on. It has a stamp, but it doesn't have the thing over the stamp giving the date. Anyway, it's a long time ago. So I'm thinking that what happened there was he was the one who saw my video in Massachusetts, because when you get a sponsor, that means somebody in that area who's already doing their own public access show will sponsor a show from out of that city or state, for instance. And since public access is for the local area of the city that you're within, to get to to get branched out, you have to have somebody, in a sense, sponsoring you at the other place and running it through there, because otherwise it's only supposed to be for people in that locale. This is from Pamela Santiago and her son Christian, who is age 8. This is in 2001. This is pre-2001. That's pre-YouTube. No, 2007. That must be 2007, because YouTube didn't exist in 2001. I think that's 2007. It's the print. They're from Georgia. See, it has to be 2007, because this is fan art from the Happy Show. And you wouldn't have known about the Happy Show if it was otherwise. So the mother and the son both sent a letter, and this is over a 20-minute video, but we'll deal with it, okay? Hello, Mr. Halls. My son Christian Santiago, excuse me, saw one of your quick draws. Yeah, it's 2007 is when it was. On the internet, and he wanted you to send you a picture he drew. He has entered into a drawing contest for which will be displayed at the mall on 1/18/07. His art teacher at Clubview Elementary paid. He is one of the best drawers at 8 years old. Thanks for your time. It really means a lot to my son, which is really cool. I honestly don't take these legitimate letters from children and their parents for granted. The one I think is a scam that's not really a child is another story, but it was really cool. Like, I'm going to cover his address again, and I'm sure at his age now, he's a full-grown adult too, so he probably don't even live with this address, but his parents may still. So they were from Columbus, Georgia, but I won't worry about the street address. Here's his letter. He wrote me his own letter. Dear Mr. Halls, he did leave the E out of it, but that's all right. My name is Christian Santiago. I love your quick draw show on the internet. Please continue your good work. One day I want a job like you. You are great. Which that was very nice. And then here's what he sent me. He sent me a picture of Doc Ock, which was actually, for 8 years old, is really good. I mean, look at the segmented arms and all that from the movie version of Doc Ock. And yeah, that was really cool. So I really, like I said, when it's a legitimate letter and everything else, I really appreciate it. I still like, even though illegitimate letters, just for the entertainment value of them and for the the whole posterity of it, but these actually mean a bit to me, because it's nice to think you have some impact positively on somebody's life, and especially when they're young kids who are wanting to get into art and stuff. So that was really neat. Okay, I don't know how long to keep this video going, so I hope you're still following along, and if you are, this is a fascinating. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and show you the address, because it's not a home address. It's a prison. So, who cares if you know a prison address, right? It's from Dayton, Texas. Okay, remember I was talking a minute ago about the comics, or Wizard comics that I said. This is back in 2002. Now, this is before the Happy Show. Well, yeah, I was going to say before YouTube. It is before the Happy Show, too. Started the Happy Show in 2003 on public access. 2006, yeah, 2006 is when I joined YouTube. So this is pre-Happy Show and pre-YouTube. So this is not about that. But this is about my art in a sense. I did a picture, and I'm going to have to give you a little backstory here. to explain why this guy would write me. So I did a goofy drawing, intentionally goofy drawing on Microsoft Paint back in the time when I did have an early form of Photoshop. I did not have to use Microsoft Paint. I intentionally used Microsoft Paint to draw this horrible, intentionally bad version of Wolverine versus Storm. Just being silly. Wolverine saying, I'm going to cut you up. And Storm's like, oh, no, you ain't. And I just put this goofy drawing, and it was going to print it out and put it on eBay for, back then the listing was 30 cents or whatever. And so I was just putting like for a bid, for 30 cents starting bid, totally as a lark, just for the amusement of it, and also to tease my friend about it. And I thought he'd be the only one to care. Well, it got to the notice of Peter David. It got through the internet or whatever. Peter David, the writer of, you know, several Marvel and DC comic books, and he wrote Hulk for many years. And he bid on it and won it for like $1.80 or something. He sent me $5 bill in the mail. And anyway, so I was amused at this, that he actually bought this thing, and he immediately thought it was a kid, though he acknowledged, I did see him at a convention and talked to him about it because I had signed the letter he sent to me, since he didn't actually send me a check. I was going to keep the check and save it. And he actually sent me a $5 bill in the mail there. But when I talked to him at a convention later on and got him to sign the envelope that he mailed to me, he did say, you know, for what's worth, I thought it was a kid. I said, well, you know, it looked like a kid drew it intentionally. I tried to make it look pretty rough, but not like these talented kids that I just showed you. But I told him, I said, you know, the hyperbole and the description, the way it was overblown, I mean, it was intentionally mock kind of text. And he acknowledged, yeah, I know you didn't, you know, I didn't sell it as if I was a child. It just was bad art. And he acknowledged that, and so there was no problem. But the reason I'm bringing this up, so I wrote Wizard Magazine about this whole deal. Oddly enough, the way in those old snail mail days, I was paid, like I said, by mail. That's why, if you're wondering, Matt, you got paid in the mail rather than PayPal, if you're not old enough to know or haven't been around, or if you might have forgotten. This is pre-PayPal. And so even though there's eBay in 2002, there's no such thing as PayPal, I don't think, right then. It certainly wasn't common practice. People still mailed money orders and checks in the mail for their stuff. And I was waiting on him to mail that to me when I wrote to Wizard. And so he had already won the auction, but I hadn't received his payment yet. You literally would have to wait days to a week or more to get your payment back then. And so anyway, they went ahead and published my letter, and it came out with, after I got my payment. But at that time, I just was talking about getting the check in the mail. I'm going to save it. And they made some joke about his bank account being off for the next 20 years. I'm pretty sure I got that amount of time right, too, because what would be funny now, if you check, if he had sent me a check, we were past that point of 20 years. Anyway, he didn't send me a check, so it's a moot point. But, how does this relate to a prison letter? And by the way, there's still a ticket saying this was checked by the people in the prison to make sure, I guess it was an illegal contraband or something, some conspiracy for me to break him out, or vice versa. But what it is, he read this letter. The Wizard did not publish the art. I thought they should have published the art, because I did send him a copy of it. It was a digital file anyway. And I did send him a copy of it. But they didn't publish the art, which I thought kind of lacked some of the punch. It'd been funnier if people could have saw this art that I threw out there. But what he wrote to me, this handwritten letter from his prison cell, he says, I read about you in the issue of Wizard number 122. Write that down. Number 122 would have been 2002. You can go find my letter. Where you stated that you had... Does it smell like pot? No, I'm joking. They allow that in jail? In the prison? No. In the issue of Wizard 122, where you state that you had drawn a piece of art and had posted it on an auction online. On eBay. On an auction online. Well, the reason for my letter is to ask if you would be interested in reviewing some of my artwork in hopes that you would be willing to work out a way of selling it for me on a consignment basis. I don't do that. No offense, nothing against him being in prison. I don't do that. I don't sell people's work on consignment. I'm not an agent for somebody. Enclosed is a sample of what I normally like to draw. However, I'm not limited to. If you have any ideas or suggestions on types of art that you would sell better than me, let me know, and I will provide you with these types. See, once again, in my letter, it had my address for the shop. This is no reason why. It's just the address for the shop, not my home address. I don't need people from prison writing to me at my home address. So, no offense. I mean, I know there's a lot, there's good people that have to serve, sentences for the mistake they made in their life. I'm not casting aspersions on everybody in prison. But I still don't want people who I don't know from prison writing to my home address. Sorry. No, but anyway, this guy had the letter from my shop. And I guess he thought since I had a comic shop that I would sell original art for just any kind of artist, I guess. Enclosed is a sample. Okay. My talents vary. I work with watercolors, pen, pencil, and other stuff. I kind of felt bad that he'd take the time to write this. Anyway, all of the work is done on art boards, 15 by 20 inch or smaller. If you would consider selling my artwork on consignment basis, please let me know your terms and conditions. In closing, I would like to be totally honest with you. I'm an inmate in Texas prison system. This kind of gave you away, bud. Let's see. Hopefully he's not any longer there. But I am expecting to be released. Oh, he said, I'm expecting to be released in the forthcoming months. Enclosed a self-addressed stamped envelope. Which I did write back to him, explain. I wasn't going to be able to do that. But here's the artwork. Actually, he wasn't a bad artist. It's cheesecake. But when you're in prison, what are you going to do, right? You got to have something to keep you warm at night, I guess. So, I hope the guy, whatever reason he was in prison, which wasn't discussed in the letter, I hope that he, got straightened out and all that and didn't go back at any point. And I'm hoping he had a good art career and everything. I just, back then, even now, I'm busy selling my own art. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just, I'm busy selling my own stuff, so I'm not going to be there act as an agent for somebody else. And I also was running my shop and everything at the time. And so I had to decline. But, it was still kind of cool. Let's see what this is. Texas, let's see. See, some of this is stuff, like just random stuff that isn't really worth mentioning on here. There's Insight Communications, where I had to write to the Public Access and the Department of Transportation. This might have been, what year is this? 2008. Might have been whenever I wrote to them about, some of the messes that I had with them. The governor, okay. Yeah, so maybe I should wrap this up here, look at the time, and continue with another video at some other time. But anyway, this is just a letter when Indiana Department of Transportation, I work on the road, the main street that ran by my shop, and they blocked the front of my building with this huge trailer, and so I had to write to the Department of Transportation to get them to move that. Okay, but anyway, I will probably discuss this more in their letter, because there's a whole story behind that. And right now, it looks like I'm gone over the time that I really wanted to. I don't want to make this video too much longer. So I'm just going to go ahead and end it at this point. And thanks for sticking around for this length of time if you've actually watched this whole video with me. If you did, feel free to leave a comment, even if you didn't, but you're not going to hear if you didn't. You're not going to hear me say this, but and I'll come up with some more vlogs, for better or for worse, and hopefully you'll find them entertaining enough or informative enough to stick with them. Yay! I'm going to turn this button off right now.